One of my favorite memories and photos from my childhood that I have is a picture of me and my dad, and we're doing our favorite activity. We're fishing. And I believe I was about 5 years old. And it's a picture of me just radiating joy and happiness and being so excited to do that with my dad. I still carry that picture with me. I still have it. And it reminds me of something deeper, that I know that I am deeply loved by my family, by my parents, and I am loved by God in who I am. Today we end the Christmas season with the feast of the baptism of Jesus. All throughout this season of Christmas, we've been hearing how other people come to know who Jesus is in the gospel stories. The shepherds in Bethlehem, the 3 astrologers or magi from the east, John the Baptist today, knowing who Jesus is. Well, on this feast of the baptism of the Lord, it is now Jesus' turn to know who he is. The word baptism comes from the Greek word baptismos, which means to be overwhelmed. It is from that ancient tradition of dipping from the dye makers of ancient Greece, when they dipped their cloth repeatedly in boiling dye to get the right amount of color that they wanted in the cloth. It means to dip and to be overwhelmed. Today's gospel is very short, of telling the story from Matthew's perspective of the baptism of Jesus. Baptism of Jesus is so important that all 4 gospels mention it, that they highlight how important this is in the life of Jesus and in his ministry. So in the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus comes from Galilee to John by the Jordan and is baptized. And the gospel ends that when Jesus was baptized and came up from the water, that he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove. And a dove being a symbol of the life and love and union with God. And then a voice says to Jesus. The Greek says the voice is a whisper, a soft whisper that says, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." The Spirit of God says that. This is my beloved. This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Jesus knows after his baptism who he is, the beloved of God. For those of us who are Christian, those of us who have been baptized, those of us who follow in the ways of God, that is a defining moment for us where that too reminds us that we are deeply loved by God. That in a way that we are overwhelmed by God's love. Baptism. We are dipped into the waters of love and life and union with God. And we are reminded and overwhelmed by God's love. That God speaks to us in a similar way as followers of Jesus that says, "This is my beloved, with whom I am well pleased." This week, let us take a moment to reflect on who are the people in our life. What have been our life experiences where we have heard that soft whisper of the Spirit of God that says to us, "This is my beloved." Where we have encountered being overwhelmed by love that is so unconditional, that is so deep, that is so abiding, that we know in our core of our being that it is of God. Let us pay attention to how we live and respond in listening to God say to us, "This is my beloved, in whom I am well pleased." Let us go and serve from that place of deep, overwhelming love. Amen.